Welcome back, everybody. The dog with you. Ah, yes, the soap opera continues. Town of Seneca Falls versus SMI, Seneca Meadows Incorporated. Local Law 3 allowing Seneca Meadows to stay until 2025. SMI makes a sweet offer to stay to 2037. Their package is somewhere, you can argue about the millions, 95 to 100 million. Pick a number. It's a lot of money. Recently, Mr. Avery, Mr. Peretta, and Mr. DeLalis voted 3-2 to authorize their lawyer and consultant to aggressively defend Local Law 3. Mr. Lazaro and Lou Ferrara were the two on the losing side of that vote. First off, yes, SMI, you just saw it. They're a sponsor of the WEBER show. They've been with me for quite a while. I have a lot of sponsors. I have been blessed. My view today has nothing to do with SMI as a sponsor. In allowing SMI to stay till 2037, it's my belief that we as a town cannot make it without cuts, services, tax increases, infrastructure, on and on. By accepting a raise in revenue would allow us to provide what we expect day in and day out. And don't forget about all the folks that come to the town board and ask for donations for very worthy causes, and usually they get that stipend. Is it a point where we would have to say no? We're not going to give you any money because we don't have it in the budget, so don't ask. Let's give kudos to a guy named Mark Benjamin. Yeah, SMI. I know some people look at that money at SMI for a benefit, whether it be for cancer, for whatever. I know they think the money is dirty because they're opposed to SMI and it's dirty money. I differ, not because I'm friends with Mark Benjamin, is they do a lot of good things for a lot of good organizations and people throughout the year since they've been here. Let's not forget about their generosity. You know, I talked to a good close friend of mine recently, a couple days ago, and he had a couple of great comments. Listen up. Hello. The mountain ain't going away. The mountain is not going away. They, SMI, are not adding land east, west, north, or south. They are filling the center of that landfill. And that's going to take an additional 12 years to complete, thus the 2037. If they go in 2025 and odor issues crop up, who's going to deal with it? Yes, Local Law 3 will be difficult to get overruled. I admit that. I've talked to several attorneys. But what if the state sticks their nose into this and mandates, assuming they need landfills in the state of New York, mandates SMI to stay right where they are? What if? Now we bring out the lawyers, and litigation could last for years. Legal costs would be out of sight. Remember, we have Mr. Foster, a nice guy. SMI has 7 to 10 attorneys on a private jet in here overnight. Not a fair fight. I was curious, how the heck are we going to survive without this cash? I am told the controlling board members will need to plan. You think? Our little town is not exactly flowing over with new business coming in. Have you walked down both sides of Fall Street lately? Check it out. I just did that the other day. We have a lot of storefronts that have nothing going on there. I'm worried about taxes. I'm worried about the police department. I'm worried about the rec center, Vince's Park, and the damn infrastructure of our town. And you should be too. Without mentioning names, an anti-SMI guy wrote a laughable article some time ago to the Finger Lakes Times on how in his wisdom we could get to $3.2 million if we get rid of SMI. Guess what? The article had zero validity. Some of his key points were almost laughable, probably are laughable. Del Lago Resort and Casino was going to write a check for $500,000 per year to the town of Seneca Falls. When pigs fly. By the way, Jim Senecropi and myself have heard for years. I've had people from the Board of Supervisors on this show for the last several years many times. The old tax sharing revenue. Oh yeah, lots of tax are coming in so we can spread it out to the hamlets, to the villages, to the towns of Seneca County. I understand the premise. I get it. Guess what? Nothing's been approved. Once in a while they'll talk about it, but nothing ever happens. And let's say it does happen. You know what each hamlet, town, and village of Seneca Falls would get? These are people from the Board of Supervisors who look at the numbers. Maybe 24 to 31,000 a year. Maybe. 24 to 31 grand? Really? I'm sorry. All right, so anyways, I have no problem who want to fight the fight and be opposed to Seneca Meadows. We live in America. I have zero problem with it. None. None. Speak your American method and say you don't like something. I agree. I'm not fighting with that fact you should not speak up. But I want people to be factual. Don't fabricate loony skies in a pie, like how you're going to cover that $3.2 million that we get now, which would be 5-something if they let them go to 2037. Let's think this out. In closing, maybe Mr. Avery, maybe Mr. Peretta, and maybe Mr. DeLalis, maybe they are progressive thinkers. Maybe they have keys to the promised land. Maybe history will show these three as being heroes, where we can make plaques with their faces on it. Maybe, however, to get those crowns, however, we as a town need what we have today in 2026. As 2026 arrives and we no longer have SMI and their checks and taxes are still climbing, infrastructure is ready to blow up across the town of Seneca Falls, even their supporters, in my feeling, will be screaming, "What the hell do we do now?" The hero tag would go away. Just be careful. That's Weber This Week. Take care, everybody.